and the whole team for arranging this symposium here and inviting me to be part of the session as a moderator. Uh, I will say these kind of symposiums which are happening, they gives very valuable insights, as well as we can meet our industry colleagues, and one or two ideas must are coming which we can implement. I will say not everything can be implemented, but yes, one or two, or maybe some active discussions maybe for the further business. It is also very good. So with the current topic, if you ask me, with the current market demand of 50 billion of pharmaceutical sector in India is predicted to grow at a compound annual rate of 10.7% year on year between 2023 to 2030. It is anticipated that India's pharmaceutical market grow as 130 billion by 2030 and 65 billion by 2024. This is a very huge numbers, and what I believe is that India is playing a very vital role in the pharmaceutical sector development in across the world. The compound annual CAGR for the worldwide pharmaceutical manufacturing industry is predicted to be 11.34 during the same time frame. So, with respect to my topic, there are major trends which are there in pharmaceuticals are sustainable pharmaceutical packaging solutions, where biodegradable materials, especially plant-based, are coming. Today only, I have got a news that Gary Sharma has taken over Borivali Pharma, so which are very good in sustainable solutions. So, like this, big conglomerates are coming. They are becoming one, and so that more sustainable solutions can be found out for the Indian pharmaceutical industry. But yes, in the previous session also it was told it is not so easy to do it because it is more costly. So as it was been told that we have to go for sustainable, but cost also matters. So as a group of leaders here sitting here, we have to make it possible that the cost should also come. When we more use, cost will automatically come down, right? Then smart packaging technologies, real-time information is there, traceability, RFID, things are there. Advanced anti-tampering security features, overt and covert. Earlier, people were using overt or covert, but now the theme has come, overt and covert, both can be used. Personalized pharmaceutical packaging in the patient care also. So this is also becoming very fast here in India at this point of time. We are making customized medicines, right, for the patients, and the packaging which they prefer, so that it is easy for them to take it and to take it further. The second part of our panel discussion is for the pharmaceutical changes of European pharmacopoeia. So here also there are many key factors are there, like serialization and unique identifiers are there. Temper evident features are being involved, child resistant packaging is being involved, labeling requirements are changing, environmental considerations are coming as well. Supply chain transparency is also being used here, regulatory compliance and penalties are being introduced, digitization and e-labeling is coming. So we will discuss more further when we dwell into with my panelist members. So these changes aim to enhance patient safety, prevent counterfeit medicines, and promote sustainability in the pharmaceutical industry. Compliance with these regulations is essential for all the stakeholders involved in the manufacturing and distribution of pharmaceutical products in Europe. With this, I conclude my remarks, and I will proceed with my panel discussions with my colleagues so that we can further dwell. One more request which I will ask my all the team members sitting here, you can ask questions in between also if you need, because I want to make it more interactive instead of we all are speaking only. If there are any questions, you can ask in between also. Let's change the pattern right this time. So Chandi, my first question goes to you. What are the trends in pharmaceutical packaging for future, say in next 5 years, that will impact overall perspective of designing of container closure system covering entire gamut of supply chain from procurement, packaging, supply chain and user? One more request to my panelists, try to give examples so that all the people can correlate wherever possible. Thank you. Yeah, Chandi.
Thank you, Avinash ji, and good afternoon all. And thanks CII for giving this opportunity. So I will dwell upon 4 factors, Avinash ji. The first and foremost, because we are in pharmaceutical industry, the first and foremost is what will be the regulatory impact. So the regulatory impacts they are common, they are continuous in pharmaceutical industry, especially on packaging. It can be divided into two: non-disruptive and routine changes
Okay.
that we always do. But there will be some regulations which are very much disruptive. Like serialization was the biggest disruption
Yeah.
in the last 1 decade. So it will enter gamut of packaging
Got
changed
changed, yeah.
for every industry who is marketing in US and Europe. Huge investments of crores of rupees, changing the lines, validation, that kind of disruptions will come. So it has an impact. We don't know, but in next 5 years, there can be some of the disruptive regulatory compliances which we have to meet, and as we have proved how we have worked for track and trace implementation, starting with US, then Europe, and the followed countries, which is having a different requirements.
Yeah.
Our solution providers also have become more agile when compared to 6 or 7 years to give a solution which is adaptable by so many countries. So many countries and different regulations. And the data generation is going in trillions of numbers every day.
Yes.
So there will be the regulatory impact, regulatory trends, because more and more the regulations are concentrating on the patient safety, patient compliance. So the regulations from any country of the port which are coming, we have to eventually comply with. The second most important factor I can say is that patient centricity. Patient centricity approach, which is seemingly impossible. Say, for example, 10 years back, if I have seen, there are some market complaints. So, how to address the market complaints from globally? Because the market complaint of the same will be different from each country, because each country has a different regulation, different culture.
Yes.
So, and how to address vast market used to be very impossible. We used to do brainstorming, and there are no much solutions. But thanks to Internet of Things, digitalization, the patient centricity can be brought with least price. It doesn't add much of the price onto the packaging, that we can do. And this Internet of Things is also helping to interact directly with the user. So a business development is sometimes they interact with the patients or medical administrators. So end users, I have to again want to tell that you should not concentrate only on patient. Patient is not the end user. Before that, there are medical administrators, because if your drug is going into a hospital, so the medical administrator and they are there. And another third element is pharmacists. So our end users are patients, pharmacists, and medical administrators. So business development, they can approach, they are in touch with directly with the touch sitting in those countries. So we can digitally connect to them, we can have discussions, and we can definitely impart some types of innovations, and we can easily afford the patient centricity. We can make the requirements of patients and end users more efficiently because of IoT of things and digitalization. Digitalization makes the communication more effective than a hard copy. Sometimes our hard copies itself are very difficult to refer. So when we digitalize, we are completely removing the hard copy and enhancing the communication. So like today morning they were telling that there is a chip which we can put it, which will talk to the patient, which will talk to the doctor more efficiently than what we print in huge things. And third important thing I can tell is that inclusive packaging. Very interesting thing which I want to share with all of you is that the aged population I am taking 60 plus. So they need medicines more than the younger generation. So when they need and there will be continuous medication. It is not that they take one. Say for example, if you take cardiac patients or if you take diabetic patients, they have to take enter the life. So the geriatric population, if you see the trends, it is very surprising to me. Developed countries is having 1/5 of the population above 64. Developed countries. Developing countries has only 9% and underdeveloped countries is only having 2.9%. So the more the developed countries, the geriatric patients are increasing, and the packs which we do, I can definitely say, my conscience says it is not addressing this population. Because I can give one small example. Whenever we have to send a package to US, child resistant is must and a senior friendly test have to be done.
Yes.
These are controversy. So when we take patient child resistance as the priority, because even a fraction of the tablet, not one tablet, even a fraction of a tablet is injurious to a child, I have to induce more control, but it is not helping the senior friendly.
Senior friendly.
So having this population, 1/5 of a developed country population geriatric, we can always address what are their requirements and do a pack separately for that. If the drug is for geriatric use only,
Yeah.
we should not do it in a conventional packaging. We should do something. We should
Different,
do something.
yeah, I agree.
One example I got very recently in US when I went, there is a shear closure. But first time it should be doing shear closure, child cannot use. But once you want to purchase after usage, you can just open, reverse it and put it is a non-shear closure.
Oh.
So the senior patients, instead of pressing and doing, it is child resistant, but when they take it and they secure it is not reached to children, they can just reverse the same closure, apply it, and they can easily score. These kind of things are coming. And fourth aspect I want to cover is green packaging, sustainability.
Sure.
So we can bring, I have a very good experience how we can bring sustainability into pharmaceutical packaging by following 4 main principles. Remove whatever packaging is not required. Reduce whatever packaging you want to reduce. You can reduce the blister size, you can reduce the bottle size, you can down gaze. Then you can remove the hard copies and make digitalization. Rethink is the third one. You rethink about the already launched product, you need not forget. You see the launched product also, you revisit and how we can do a value addition and cost reduction. And fourth is you can always recycle. So recycle how almost whatever the packaging material we are using, fortunately in pharma primary packaging components, they are purest in the grade. So once they have been consumed and they can be recycled and used for so many applications very comfortably because they are in the purest form. That's the 4 trends which I want to develop.
So what Chandi is trying to say is rethink. We always forgot for the rethinking. We do not go back. So what was discussed earlier. So whatever ideas are coming, what I would request is that note it down. Do not debate at that time. Every idea is a good idea. Rethink and then we can go in the brainstorming session and afterwards we can think whether it is being implemented or not. Can be implemented or not. Sorry. So that is my own suggestion to everyone. You want to add anything, Gunindra, in this? What Chandi has spoken. Hello. So continue anything new.
2 things which I want to add, what he has added. One thing is that a lot of mechanization is also coming. By meaning mechanization, what we mean is that gradually after post-COVID period, there has been a lot of dynamics which has changed and the operational cost of every company has to be kept at a minimal. Considering that fact, every company has to try and implement mechanization. That is one. Number 2, also one thing which every company and other people are trying to do, particularly in India market, many of the focus, when you look for the US market, the compliances and the type of packaging. Example, if there is a needle stick injury in case of a pre-filled syringes, okay, in those cases of US market, we might be using preventive device or active safeguard device. But in the case, because of any price change, if the same cannot be implemented in India, then the packaging technologist or along with the user company or along with the converters have to come up with some solution like trap labels, in which through the trap labels also we can avoid the needle stick injury. So in that way, also one more thing we need to, what Chandi sir added is that interactive packaging is one thing.
Yes.
So many of the patients which is suggested are like senior patients, and the font size which we find in the aluminum foils or in the tablets or many of the are not very greatly written, and it is very difficult to read the text for any person. So that has to be properly done by with the packaging team and the QA team and the regulatory bodies. There has to be some regulations which has to be followed so that the compliance increases for all the person. That is one thing which also needs to be added. One more thing which I wanted to add is that serialization is mostly we are following since 2011, almost like 12 years, which has been followed for export market, and since 2018 it has been followed for US market. But till that level for domestic market, except the top 300 drugs for which QR code has been mentioned, it has still not been implemented for Indian market. So we would definitely like to see that if for the other markets it can be implemented, and there are different size company definitely there, but we have to find out solution if the same thing can be implemented in India, which can provide more security in the supply chain, and the patient safety also can be added. So there are some other points also which I would like to highlight, that what is more important is that there is still, I find there is some gaps between the user companies and the converters. So many of the applications which the user company are trying to implement, in the morning session also there were some discussions in the laminates, and there were some other discussions. We are working on the labels. Example, people might be changing for sustainability anyway. Sustainability is a buzzword. So they are telling that, okay, we will change from paper liner to PET liner. But how many companies we can change it, but then how to get rid of that PET liner, or how to remove it. So there are some practical challenges which both the user and the industry and the convert industry has to work together to find a solution.
Thank you, Manindra. Saurav, my next question to you is, how are smart packaging technologies such as QR codes, NFC, transforming the pharmaceutical industry? Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, thanks Avinash, and good afternoon everyone. Thank you CII and Mr. Chakravarti for having me on this platform today. So to your question Avinash, like smart packaging today is the essence for tomorrow actually.
Yes.
Okay. And most of us majorly are from generic industries. So there has to be a clear-cut differentiation in this competing market. And smart packaging is one of the most effective ways wherein we can make a value addition, have an added niche over the peer companies actually. So QR codes, like NFC tags, these are all real-time data monitoring tracking devices which can entirely map the transportation of your drug product from the point of origination to the terminal point. There are other points, as Mr. Chandi also mentioned, like personalized medication. That is most important today because considering the age limits that we currently have actually, QR code in a way, it not only has the digitalization, it also brings in an indirect way of supports an eco-sustainability initiative. QR code, by means of QR code, we are actually getting rid of some unnecessary use of paper, physical inventory of paper from our packaging. So that is in a way fostering the sustainability initiatives in various companies actually. So these are some of the ways, like the smart packaging, the patient-centric packaging, like the CR caps, the timer packs that we usually see in the market. So those are something like which is self-triggering thing that yes, the patient has to take. Those are adds to the convenience of the patients actually.
Thank you, Saurabh. Chandi, my next question comes to you again. Compliance to regulatory requirements and meeting the culture of the country of port where medicines are sold. What are the regulations such as reduction of plastic, sustainability that will be challenging to Indian pharmaceutical industry and packaging industry as a whole? what will be the consequences of these packaging technologies also? If you can share some thoughts on that.
Pharmaceutical industry uses plastic to large extent. We were using glass and metal also,
Yeah.
but the glass has been completely replaced with plastic again. So morning somebody was asking whether why they want to see ampule or vial in plastic. I want to tell them that BFS technology is very predominant in Indian pharmaceutical industry,
Yes.
which has come affordable now. If I say 15 years back, the BFS technology is non-affordable because the machine itself will cost 5 crores and the mold, each mold costs about lakhs. But today the BFS technology has come, so even the conventional injectable packaging also converted it from glass to plastic. So we are the largest users of plastics.
Mhm.
And even the tubes are all changed to laminate tubes.
Laminated.
So, what is the challenges? Because we are using highest quantities of plastics, but plastics are normally they considered as the biggest enemies of the environment. True to some extent and not true to some extent. There were a lot of myths. So the countries, the developed countries, are coming with an objective from sustainability on three factors. Three factors is reducing carbon footprint
Yes.
and using usage of renewable energy, and third is an ethical supply chain. That means it is not that just you follow sustainable practices
Others.
from starting. Like for example, if it is a bottle or any plastic, the resin manufacturer, the converter, the user, everything. So these are the three objectives of sustainable regulations that are coming on plastics with regard to sustainability. And Europe is forefront, European community is forefront in bringing these regulations very stringent. Now we have to pay 0.8 euro per kg of the plastic that is exported to European countries which are not recyclable.
Yes. This
But
is the
however, you have a complete obligation of declaring what is the quantity of the plastic that you have exported into each country of the Europe and how much that has been 100% has to be recycled. That means you should have a agreement with the recycling bodies there, picking up all the plastic wastage of the medicines packages. You have to collect it and they have to give a declaration, this much we have collected from this country, from this company. So what we have exported and what has been collected should be 100% reconciliation. And in that, it should go for recycling. If it is not recyclable, they declare this much percentage is not recyclable. We have to pay 0.8 euro per kg. So these kind of things are coming, which is having a lot of influence on the industry, and it will definitely percolate to the packaging development.
Yes.
So now packaging development has to see, like if you see PVC, predominant forming material for blister for European market, PVC and laminates of PVC. PVC is more environmental non-friendly when compared to PP. So they are asking you have to completely replace PVC with PP. Already Japan doesn't accept PVC, and even Germany there is a lot of regulations on PVC. So these are coming. So the overall objective of the sustainable regulations that are coming in the countries have a direct impact on Indian industry, either it is pharmaceutical or any export industry, FMCG or food industry, because today the pharmaceutical exports are more than food exports in India, I think.
Yes.
And whatever the food export that is going, it is consumed by Indians in the flora of the countries. But there is a strong belief that India will become in next 5 years as the food capital of the world, as India has become pharmacy of the world, food. So the food industry also have to do. But the difference is from food, it is easily consumable, its shelf life is in months, whereas pharma shelf life is in years. So there will be definitely an impact of a complete rethinking, a reapproach to reduce the plastics, to replace the plastics, and do a complete design which will be product friendly and the supply chain friendly and the user friendly.
Thank you, Chandy. So here, government also plays a major role, right, while designing the policies. Like what I'm hearing now is that in the case of aluminium, if we import, we have to pay import duties and all that, which is coming, which is not good for Indian pharmaceutical industry. So if we are exporting, then if we are paying more, if our converters are importing it and they are paying import duty, they are going to charge from us only. And what we are trying to do, we will charge from the from our customers only. But there are some medicines where we cannot increase the prices. So it is chicken and egg story, right? Then who are the formulators in the government? There are many people from CI also here. So my urge request is please see these policies so that it should be uh, friendly to the industries also who are working in this pharmaceutical sector. Yeah, Manindra, you want to add anything what Chandi has said?
First thing, what is suggested is that regarding the PVC, that is because in most of the products are in thermoform blister, and PVC is the forming material that is mostly used, so it is gradually changed with PP. So that is the work that is done. In addition to that, in the morning session, they suggested that many of the companies are working on reducing the wall thickness of the bottles, provided the product stability
Stables.
is established. So that is also happening. And in addition to that, in case of laminates also, other than the normal regular structure, example 12, 12, 60 and other structures which are present, can alternative structures be worked upon a laminate structure with lesser micron thickness or alternative material, which can provide the same kind of stability for the product. So that are also things which are getting evaluated by the packaging technologists and the other cross-functional teams. So one more thing which we need to consider is that gradually, not only while these works are getting happened on the primary packaging, the ultimately for many of the export shipments, it is the tertiary packing and the pallet till which, for example, from the once the product gets packed, it will be packed in a carton and then to a shipper and then to a pallet, right? So the effective and proper optimal designing of the carton, and then the next shipper, what should be the GSM of each shipper, what should be the dimension, and how can you ensure more optimal usage of the pallet while you are trying to ship it out. So all these things ultimately again reach out to the sustainability, because you are trying to get maximum output from the product which you are trying to ship it out, because the logistics costs get reduced, the freight charges get reduced, the carbon emissions get reduced. So, the role of packaging technology is gradually more and more increasing, because the cost of the drugs and other aspects becomes fixed or keep on increasing. The man hours cost keep on increasing. So, the packaging team plays a very pivotal role, because they have to think out ways in which they can work out to optimize the benefit of the company and to increase the sales.
Avinash, only one point.
Yeah, sure.
So
Please
the
go ahead.
focus when for all the packaging technologies, the focus will be highest on primary, then it goes to secondary because labeling is a regulation, and least goes on to tertiary. But now I think we have to reverse it because to get the overall benefit for supply chain as well as industry. So there can be lot of rethinking and redesigning on tertiary packaging.
Thank you. So, by redesigning what Chandi has said and what Munindra has said, by redesigning our shippers, we have to maximize the pallet space, maximize the container space. So, as a company, Dr. Reddy's have saved more than 10%. If you redesign it, if you redevelop it, because top space of the container is always left vacant, and we are paying for that, right? So, we should try to use 100% so that this comes as a part of sustainability also. Now I come to my dear friend, Mr. Jaggi, right? Sustainability, right? We are talking is a very big buzzword. Everybody is saying, right? So, so there is a lot of talk, right? What is happening? So my request is, what are the trends of recyclable packaging materials? Also, throw some light on the new pharma packaging weight regulations for the European market.
Thank you, Avinash, for your question. But before that, let me thank CII, Chakravarti Garu, and the entire management of CII to have put up this show and inviting me to be part of this panel. So coming to your question, Avinash, sustainability is the buzzword.
Yes.
No doubt about it. In fact, I don't know how many of you noticed when you entered the hotel, just
Yeah.
before you turning, there's a small kiosk put up by the government of Telangana. It says reduce, reuse, recycle. There are actually
I've
kiosks.
not seen, sorry.
Yeah, there are kiosks, some of you may have noticed, where
Yeah.
they are encouraging you to reuse, recycle your products, etc. So that's inevitable.
Yeah.
And when you talk of PPWR, that's the Pharma Packaging Waste Regulation, it's a law already.
Yes.
European Union in 2024 has made it into a law and will come into effect beginning 2025. There is no escape from that. There are many challenges, but why does it happen? It's coming because of sustainability, because of regulations. Like in the earlier sessions, I heard some of the panelists asking questions as to when we use these snack foods, there are multi-layered laminates, which becomes a challenge to recycle. I fully agree.
Definitely.
It is an issue, but there are solutions. There were some debates on whether do we have any solution. My company already set up about 7 years ago the planet's first 100% recyclable packaging material.
Okay.
It was not in US, it was not in Europe, it was in Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad.
We
Good.
invested 100 crores to put up a completely recyclable mono-material packaging material. The difference is, because when we inaugurated this, Amul also
Yes.
has been using multi-layer mono-materials films for milk packaging. And
Yeah.
that's how the rag picker picks it up, because it's very easy to recycle. The difference of what that packaging is, that gives you a shelf life of 4, 5, 6 days. What we have developed gives you a shelf life of 8, 9, 10, or even 12 months, depending on the level of barrier that you are looking at. So we have different solutions. We also do the same product out of a Spanish facility. These are mono materials, PP based and PE based, and these are 9 times recyclable.
9 times.
9 times recyclable as certified by Recyclass of Europe. Of course, that's a different story. How many actually are recycling it? That's the second story. It's like plastic. We all criticize plastic. For me, plastic remains a wonder product.
Yes.
I don't think plastic is an evil. Managing plastic waste is the evil, and that's where we need to educate ourselves, improve our behavior to how to manage the waste, how to segregate the waste, and the innovation that we have done, and now we offer it to the world. Many global multinationals are using this material already for high barrier monomaterials, PP based, even pharma solutions, where the barrier needs a little less. Aluminum is undoubtedly
The best.
the ultimate.
Yeah.
You cannot compromise on that. But if you have some products where the barriers can be little lower, and you can still manage, we have these solutions, and therefore this pharma packaging waste regulation has come as an act. It is a law. It is essential for all food supplements and nutraceuticals to be compliant. Otherwise, there is going to be heavy penalties.
Yes.
Heavy penalties imposed by the EU, and this is not restricted only to the companies operating in EU. This is applicable to anybody and everybody in the globe who's doing business in EU. So it's not that if I'm sitting in India, I can be away from that regulation.
No.
If I'm doing business with them, I have to comply with the pharma packaging waste. There are timelines, there are guidelines where 2030 there will be more reviews, there will be in 2035 there will be updates, etc. But it's already become a law, and it is now mandatory to comply with that pharma packaging waste regulation.
Thank you, Mr. Jaggi, for bringing these lights on the table. And thanks for putting the plant here in India so that Make in India can further boost up, right? Yeah. Saurav, I come back to you again. What roles, yeah, please go ahead.
No. We are making multi-layer laminates of the same material. It's the same PP or the same PE,
But
with
multi-layer.
different barrier requirements. Some products need 6 months shelf life, some need 8 months shelf life. And I must add here, when we say 100% recyclable, there's a misconception in India that it should be, every component should be 100% recyclable. No. The European Union Recyclass specifies as long as it is 90% and above recyclable components, it is classified as recyclable. So it is a monomaterial. It's PE, PEP with some additives, which is making it so it's very easy to recycle it. It's all PE, so you don't need to segregate each layer, which is the challenge today. We have metallized polyester, PE,
OPA,
etc., etc., OPS, and that's why the rag picker never picks up those pouches, because the pain of segregation is
very
far
much
higher than the results that they get.
I must say, if anybody has time and going, do visit that plant, because I was there at the opening ceremony of the plant. Yeah. So, Saurav, I come back to you again. What role sustainability play in the future of pharmaceutical packaging? And what are some of the emerging eco-friendly materials, if you can throw some light?
Yeah, so see, sustainability, as we all know, that it is the future for us actually, and it will definitely have a positive environmental impact for every industries. Some of the examples, as Mr. Jaggi has also shared, and this thing in pharmaceutical business, what we have seen over the years, like various, vendors and suppliers, they are coming up with very innovative packaging solutions which are sustainable in nature. If we speak of oral solid dosages, like for blister packs, from mono PVC, which is the least barrier, we see there are companies who are coming up with recyclable grades of PVCs with some chemical inhibitors and stabilizers impacted, which will get converted into a recyclable grades actually. So the plus point over there is, probably you won't need a new stability to be done, because the material per se remains PVC. Okay, and we don't commit those inhibitors or the stabilizers which goes into the PVC as a part of our dossier commitment to the regulatory health authorities. So the specification remains per se the same, 200 or 250 microns PVC. That is one. Secondly, and over a period of like increasing barrier, people have done a lot of work in the least barrier films, and that is PVC, and the highest barrier, which is the cold form. And I'm sure Mr. Jaggi will agree, like there are cold form structures which are halogen free also available today.
Yes.
Wherein, converters have come up with a solution of removing the PVC from the innermost layer, replacing it with polylayer. But that again calls for a new leading foil, which has to seal onto that polylayer,
and then
which calls for additional, correct. That is additional stability. But yes, that's a halogen-free recyclable grade of blister film actually. There are some works going on with regard to slightly more, thermoform based sensitive products like PVDC or Aclar based products, wherein those work are still going on. I have come across personally some, works with converters where we have seen they have replaced the lead foil with a PE film also.
Sure.
But over there, the challenges lies like dispensing
issues will be coming.
Those issues are there. Printability, because that is transparent in nature, you will have to always give a white undercoat of printing and then go for printability. Whether you need any surface treatment of those films or not to make it print receptive or not. So those challenges are there which are being addressed. But these are some of the very significant salient progresses that our vendors have, our partners have already done. But one of the challenges which I want to, as end user, as drug manufacturer is, one is, availability of multiple number of vendors, because if tomorrow one of our partners A come up with a solution, it should be readily available with C, D also.
I agree.
So that we don't rely on a monopolistic source, relying on one vendor base every time. That is one. Secondly is the investment at our end. One is the stability front. Even if I leave that thing out, what is the additional cost? If I have to run a different compact cold form blister, let's say a sustainable grade, I have to invest in a new set of tooling. Any blister machine, imported blister machine is not going to cost us less than 40,000-50,000 euros per set. So even more. And looking into the dynamics of Europe market, the different pack configurations that we have, full set of tooling, partial set of tooling, we incur this thing which we do not add on to the return on investment, what we are actually achieving. So these are some of the things we have to address these things at a step by step going ahead. The plus point is people have identified, we have identified, yes, there are solutions available. It is up to us as end users or drug manufacturers to take it up, to collaborate with our partners who are providing that solution, run a stability fine. We will do that. And then we will also support the partners in a way, collaborate with them to go strength to strength, because they cannot keep on developing things without any commitment from the end user or the drug manufacturer, whether it will see the light of the day or not, because ultimately it's an investment at their end also.
Yeah.
I'll just add here, Amnish, one point.
Yeah, sure. Please
like
go ahead.
the recyclability, we as a company have targeted 2025, where every packaging that we produce will be recyclable. That's number one. Number two, by 2030, we have taken a target that we will be net zero.
Oh,
2030. As a company, we will be net zero, and as you all know, there are three scopes. You know,
Scope
what
one,
you
scope
do
two,
on your
scope
materials, what
yeah.
you do on energy, and what you do with your vendors.
Yeah.
So what we do with materials, what we do with energy is only 12% score. That's the smallest part. The biggest challenge is 88% of the score comes from what our vendor is complying to make it make us net zero, and in turn what we do to our customers. And therefore it's a drive we have taken. 2030 is very ambitious.
Yes.
But we have set ourselves a target.
From Indian government, it is 40 years ahead.
Yes, we are almost 5 years now, around the corner, 2025. Thank you.
Only one point I would like to add. Lissy, as drug manufacturers and as our partners who are manufacturing the sustainable solutions, we are collaborating. We should at least throw this point to the forum also, like it is also up to the regulators to accept these new materials. They should not be relying on an extended shelf life of maybe, if I'm marketing a product with 36 months shelf life, they should not come and tell, okay, first give me that 36 months shelf life real-time data, because you had an out of specification or a stability failure in one stability condition. Give me the full stability, then I'm going to approve you. We have seen in our experience that a simple thing like people are moving out to e-labeling, e-leaflet more so. There are pharmaceutical companies who have entered into semi-regulated market with e-leaflet, but that has still not been accepted by the US
government. I agree with you.
Even with major European health authorities also.
If that can be done, that is a major
FDA, if they can be convinced, because see, we can do this, that all prescription products which are having an outsert or a leaflet form, which is in any way an added cost to the product. So if that can be converted into
it adds to the product and nobody reads also,
and
nobody reads it.
And the best part is the QR code on the label. If someone scans it, they get an access to the most updated version of the leaflet. Because in pharmaceutical business, there is a lot of leaflet changes that keeps on happening. There are, instances where our product in the market is lying in the market with an obsolete version of leaflet, and there is a security or alert or change that has to be done. So those things can be avoided. That non-compliance can be avoided, and we can save this thing.
One thing more, what innovator does, before going to the market, they will only change one comma or full stop. For that, we have to stop our drug to the market. We have to change it, that comma or full stop, and then we have to re-label it, and then we have to send it. And that doesn't make any sense.
Avinash, I want to add one thing. Just sir, the guidance on EPI, electronic PI, has been published in 2013. That is the only guidance in my experience after publishing the draft guidance not implemented within 5 years. Any guidance that comes in US, it will be implemented 5th or 6th year. 2013 to 2024 that has not been implemented. I will openly tell the reason. It is a lobby that is stopping it. So the pharmaceutical industry of India should become as a lobby to go and influence them and make that EPI implementation. Sir, it has excellent advantage for us. Yes. It relieves pharmaceutical industry to the great extent who are exporting to US market. And they have clearly given why this guidance we made, because they wrote one sentence, beautiful sentence. 100% of this outsource will go to the dustbins of pharmacies. They have written, and that is the reason they want to convert into EPI, and it has not been implemented. Avinashji, pharmaceutical industry has to come to India. Indian top 20 company has to come, and we have to represent Avinashji. We have to take the lead in that.
CEOs are going to FDA, representing wherever it can be. But I would request our government authorities also. Yes, sir.
Sir, I request Pharmaceutical to at least to connect to 25 top Indian companies about this EPI guidance, and we should make a represent why it is stopped.
Yeah.
When it can be implemented, it will be a great relief, and it has a sustainable impact, sir.
So
because
every company will save around 40-50 crores, which we are spending now.
No, sir. Paper, sir. When
Paper
I
also
calculated, sir, in 2013, 12,000 tons of paper can be saved, Bible paper. 12,000 tons per annum.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chandi, it's not only the 12,000 tons.
Sir, go
Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You can just log in with your IEC number, with IEC. You can go into that one,
Okay.
and you can select a country,
Okay.
and you can mention your issues and strategies there itself.
Okay.
And
Understood.
you please post your comments on that,
Sure.
and that will really help us to bring this representation to the government.
Definitely.
And definitely we'll come to that.
Definitely,
And
we'll
the
all do.
And the second point is that I think probably my regulatory mindset has really helped, trying to check with Saurav what has mentioned that the QR, not the QR code, with respect to the leaflet that he said is there can be read about that one and all, whatever it may be and all. And at the back end, you will be changing the updating on all those things.
Yes.
This will help as a security issue also. If somebody has already counterfeited that one, he may not be updating it as much as you updating it.
Yes, I agree with you.
And the moment you check with that one, if you have the latest one coming up, then it is yours. If it is the old one, definitely somebody has counterfeited that.
I agree.
That's kind of a thing you can work it on.
Thank you, sir. So, Saurav, now I'm coming to you with a difficult question, right? So, everybody is asking sustainability has more price, so we have to go like that, right? So, my question is, how can sustainability packaging solutions drive profitability by meeting consumer demand and regulatory requirements?
No, yes, pricing is one serious concern actually that I already mentioned. So, as front runners in the pharmaceutical industries, the front runner of pharmaceutical companies, it is up to them to have a consumer awareness. That is one.
Yeah.
In a way, we build in that brand loyalty within the mind of the patients or the consumers. That yes, if somebody is taking Dolo 650 or something of that sort, no, I am loyal to buy that particular product. I'll not go for any other brand
Any
or
other
something. So, as front runners in the pharmaceutical business, we should bring in this or inculcate this type of loyalty, this thing with them. Secondly, the government should incentivize the companies also. Okay, to collaborate, and there should be a venture between private and government institutions so that they can jointly collaborate and foster this type of sustainable solutions with some funding from the government side also, and which will also benefit the drug manufacturer also by means of the incentivization.
Thank you, Saurav. So, what Saurav is trying to say, some of the US companies, big companies, are giving 4 to 5% extra money if we go towards the sustainable packaging material, but not more than that. But when we are going to implement it, it is costing much high. So that is what if Indian government or some good, I will say, rules can come which can help industry in using, that will be great. So Chandi, I come back to you again. What are the new regulations of or pharmaceutical requirements that are coming which are critical and have huge impact on the business?
One such is USP pharmacopoeia requirements. Earlier it was the chapter 660 is to be containers. And but now that has been changed to two sectors, 661 and 6.1 and 661.2. So this 661.1 addresses the material of construction, and 661.2 says the pharmaceutical packaging, plastic packaging system of pharmaceutical use. So they have divided into it. The overall objective is that the complete chemical structure and the toxicological assessment has to be done when you are using as a plastic material for your primary packaging, and even depending on the dosage form it varies, because the impact and the interaction will be least in solid oral dosage form. The requirements are certain, but when we move on to the specialty drugs, injectables, and then aerosols, the requirements are increasing. So to do this complete establishment of plastic construction, materials of construction, as well as the toxicological assessment before you launch the product involves lot of tests to be done, and about 27 USP reference standards are required. Earlier the tests are only 5 or 6 for primary packaging material, but now it has increased like anything, and PVC also has brought into the USP. Even though it is introduced in 2020, the pharmacopoeia USP of 2020, they have given implementation date which is fast approaching is 2025. Why they have extended the implementation? Normally pharmacopoeial standards will implement from the day of publication. If it is May 1st, 2020, it has to be implemented from May 1st, 2020. But for this, they have given 5 years exception from 2020 to 2025 because of the complexity involved. The complete testing methods have been changed, and to do at least one time, it will cost 1 crore for one container. One container closure system, it will cost 1 crore, and we have to do only one time during development. It is not part of the regular quality testing. So that is coming, and later on, once USP is implemented, it will go into European pharmacopoeia, as you said, then it will come to Indian pharmacopoeia.
Thank you, thank you. Munindra, what are your thoughts of challenging this implementing the regulations of pharmaceutical regulations? Can you throw some light?
Yeah, so in Europe market, there has been tamper evident stickers which has been implemented. But there are still some challenges like, again, I will tell that generally many of the cartons which are getting, in which the tamper evidence are put, if they are UV varnished, then many of the labels, when they are kept at different temperature conditions, the label generally get peeled off. So the collaboration is required between the user company and the converters or the manufacturers of the labels, in which for Europe market you need to find out some labels in which it can properly adhere to the UV coating also, number one. Also, I recently read one guideline in which not only on the carton but on the shipper or on the case, there's a requirement which is coming up that you need to include a tamper evidence on the case, that is the shipper. So the shipper also has to be, there's a very recent guideline which I have just read it. Okay. So in which in the shipper also you have to do in such a way that the shipper also gives an indication that there has been a tamper evidence.
Oh, this so I am not aware.
Yeah, so earlier it was still the carton, okay. But the guideline now tells that in the shipper also, what is happening when many of the warehouses they have that, they do not want the carry strap, because generally people were using carry strap and the BOPP tape. So you now have to put a proper BOPP tape in the case, and that case BOPP tape should be such that it provides tamper evidence.
This is implemented or going to implement?
It is going to implement soon.
Okay.
A very recent guideline which they have mentioned that the case shipper also has to be, BOPP tape also has to be with tamper evidence. That is a very recent requirement which has come across the supply chain.
Thank you, thank you. Sanjeev ji, we'll come back to you.
I will add to that. So making the shipper as a tamper evident will be very, very difficult. But solution is there, which certain companies used to use way back 90s for export, especially Vietnam and some other African markets. We used to glue the complete all top and bottom flaps of the shipper during those days, 90s. But that is a very laborious job to apply glue and stick it and put pressure and see that the glue has sticked, and then we used to dispense. But
some companies have come up. They have got like hollow sticks, and other companies are telling like that. So there are some tapes, like in that tapes will give a indication that you have done tamper evidence on the case. So they are trying to, we have implemented it for 2 customers. So
okay.
That they were their specific requirement that you have to implement it. So we have implemented it.
Okay, thank you. Sanjeev ji, let's come back to you. we are hearing that new EU rules on the forest conservation, right? What are those, and what if would mean to for the packaging industry?
Okay, that's quite a complex
Question,
situation.
because it is as per the
situation.
topic given to me.
It's a
Yeah,
complex situation. It's a controversial situation as well. And earlier we heard our colleague from the ITC mentioning something about it. It's a new proposed act
Yeah.
in Europe. The proposed act actually, literally, if you look at the steps, it starts from the tree in the forest. And the forester has to have every tree marked, and before he does it to the next level, he has to have a coding for each tree. Then it goes to the paper mill. The paper mill has to generate a code from which you can trace which tree it came from. Then the paper mill sends it to the converter. So as a converter, I have to have a code which will trace back to the source of the paper mill to the source of the tree. Now, this is going to be extremely complex to manage.
I agree.
I don't know how many, people in the forest will actually be able to implement this. It was to be implemented beginning 2025.
Okay.
I already hear there is a deferment. Already, our Indian government has also asked the European Union to postpone this. It's already postponed. Now, whether it's for 1 year or 2 years, it's not clear. But it's going to be an extremely challenging act once it comes into play. I don't know how everybody is going to implement it down the value chain, starting from the forester who's going to cut down the tree and have an identification of that tree. They're going to a different level, but that's the way the world is moving. But compliance is a mandatory, and I can only add here, and I'm proud to say, Constantia Flexible recently, we upgraded our EcoVadis score from gold to platinum.
Oh, that's very good.
And platinum, there are less than 1% companies in the world who have ever got or have.
So we are also gold, we are not platinum.
So we've now been upgraded to platinum, and less than 1% are platinum. So, but we comply with all the regulations and sustainability. Thank you.
So, Saurabh, my last question comes to you, seeing the timeline. Right, what efforts are being made in India to develop and implement eco-friendly pharmaceutical packaging solutions?
See, some of the stages that we need to do, like green, we all know there is a C-Series involved in biopolymers development, actually, in collaboration with government initiatives. This is a very positive way forward on those things. And as I mentioned briefly before also, like, we as front runners, we need to collaborate with our partners to do this development. Yes, we see a lot of developments coming here in India also by our vendors, by our suppliers also. They are taking a step forward in developing this thing. But there is an ample scope of collaborating between private companies and government associations with financial funding also, which is likely to boost such type of developmental activities here. This will not only, boost the development here in India, but also de-risk, as I was mentioning, the dependency of an external vendor base actually, and to locally develop over here. We have a parallel development running over here. No harm in getting it sourced from external European source or US source, that's to start with. But we should also have our indigenous development base here also, so as to have that flexibility, because see, turnaround time, lead time of materials is equally critical to maintain the business continuity, right? So those things also needs to be taken care of.
Surge in the demand can also be very big if it is nearby.
Yes.
Thank you, Saurabh. Any questions from our audience to any of the panel members? Otherwise, I will be, please. Can you hand over the mic, please? He's going, sir.
Hello everyone, Manoj Kochar from Holoflex. My question is regarding the sealing of shipper cartons, right? I think it was mentioned that it is perhaps being made mandatory soon. So may I ask which organization or which, is it the EU FMD or is it
Sorry?
The regulation has come from US market.
It's come from US market.
Yeah. I can share the guideline if we can share it. Details.
I'll definitely connect with you once
Yeah.
this panel is over. So
Yes.
we'd love to. I think we have solutions there, but I just want to understand this before I just take
Yes,
it forward.
Considering just a point, considering the serialization being implemented in US, which is also in a way anti-counterfeiting, do we still need to have to adopt to this tamper evident feature in shipper boxes? Because serialization is 100% mandatory now. That itself is an anti-counterfeiting measure. And considering aggregation is also implemented for US market. So do we still need to have this tamper? Has anybody gone back to the authorities challenging that when we have these, these things in place, why this additional requirement of this? Because serialization in Europe is only till the secondary level, but in US it is aggregation at the pallet level also. So if anybody tries to tamper, the aggregation will go off. We will not be able to have that parent-child relationship, right?
Yeah, that is there, but sometimes the regulators act in a strange way. That is all I can say. So we have to find out that how it tells actually.
Yeah, well, thank you, Avinash, and
Thank you, Chakravarti.
Thank you, Saurabh, Munindo, Sandy, and Jaggi. I think you guys have a combined experience of more than 150 years, maybe somewhere around 150 to 160. I think we couldn't have asked for a better panel today. What a compelling takeaways, innovative thoughts.
Jaggi
Yeah, he's youngest of all, don't worry.
दिल तो अभी बच्चा है.
So many intriguing thoughts and insights, a lot of initiatives, a lot of food for thought. I think the pharmaceutical industry always is driven by the packaging innovations. Both are together. The innovations in the pharmaceutical packaging industry drive the growth of the base industry. Similarly, the innovations or research works in the pharmaceutical industry demand new technologies for the pharmaceutical packaging also. Both go hand in hand. I think amazing takeaways from all of you. Wonderful contributions. Thank you so very much. With that, I reiterate my statement, packaging is your second physician. So definitely, I think it is here to go. Thank you so very much. We keep connected. It's not just in the panel alone. As you know, we keep connected offline as also. So I request all of you to stay tuned. If any one of you have not taken your photo at the photo booth outside, I request all of you have your own photos, click at photo booth and share this at CIITG Packcon hashtag in the respective social media platforms. And thank you very much once again. Yeah.